Now, to carry on with the next part of this demonstration, I need to make a few changes and alterations to these objects for reasons which will become apparent as soon as I start demonstrating the next part of the process. Now, in order to change these objects, remember they're grouped. And because they're grouped, I can't get into them unless I click on Edit Group. Now, to do that, select the group. Instantly a menu appears at the bottom, 3 dots, and it says Edit Group. Notice what happens when you go into Edit Group mode, that this stays nice and bright blue, has a little dotted line around it to indicate that's the group that you can edit, but everything is ghosted and grey apart from the group that you can edit. And so what I'm going to do to edit this group is to draw something on the side. So I've selected a rectangle there. I draw a rectangle on the side of that group, and I'm just simply going to extrude out of that side. So I've simply pulled a shape out of the side of that group. I'm going to do the same to the pink group. So incidentally, to get out of edit mode, I just simply tap to space outside of the selected area. So if I touch the pink group, it's been selected, 3 dots, edit group, and I'm going to draw something on the side here, like so, and then pull that out. So I'm pulling it out with that little extrusion tool there, the push-pull tool. Now, let's have a look at that. I've put these 2 lumps on the side of these objects for a reason. And my reason as follows, because I want to show you now for me, the essential setup, really right from the off, how we start creating a usable model in SketchUp. So the first thing I'm going to do is go into Plan View. Now to do that, I go to Scenes, touch Scenes, and go to Plan View. Now you can see, if I just make that slightly smaller, this Plan View, that it's not true plan. It's a bit like flying over Manhattan in a helicopter. These things are coming towards us in perspective because it is in perspective. Everything here is in perspective. And so what I need to do is to get it into true plan. I do that by touching Camera. From Camera, I go to Parallel Projection. It's now true plan. What we have here is a plan of this garden. I call it a garden because it could be, but the point is it's just shapes at the moment for the sake of demonstration. I've nudged it out of true just to make it slightly smaller to fit the screen, and so I now need to go back to Scenes and to create that plan view again, and it's now nicely framed. So that's our image. Now, what I'm going to do with this is the following. I'm going to go back to Scenes and add a scene. Here it says add a scene. So I just touch that and I've now got scene 1. This is my scene 1. Now, the thing is about this scene is it shows these objects from above perfectly in plan, but it doesn't show the footprint of these objects. So we need, as designers, to know what the footprint of these is, not just the shape that is sitting on top of that footprint. And this is where the beauty of tags comes in, because I go to tags, I switch these off, and you can now see the footprint. Switch them on again so you can see the pink one. This is why I drew these, or rather extruded these shapes out of the side of these objects so that you could see that there's a difference. That pink object there, the green one doesn't make any difference because that just simply is a cylinder, so it looks the same in plan anyway. But the blue one, of course, looks very different because it's got this extruded shape from the side. And so we need to be able to set up a scene, if we now go back to Scenes, like this. And so Scene, add another scene, the plus is at the top here, and so that's scene 2. So we've got scene 1, which is like that, and scene 2, which is like that. But we also want to see what this model looks like in perspective, which is the view that we had before. So if I switch on the scene 1 again, and I move it into this position, you can see that yes, we can now see it in 3D, but it's highly distorted. It's highly distorted because it's still in parallel projection. And so it looks very weird. And so we need to go back to perspective view now, like so. And now it looks right. Now we have a perspective view. And so now that we've got that perspective, I'm going to add a scene like so and call that perspective. Now, these scenes are starting to get a little bit muddled. And so what I'll do is touch the three dots, edit the scene, and you can see at this point, we can give this a name and we can call this perspective view. And we can call the others whatever it is that we want to call them. So we now have a highly organized model. We've got scenes of a color plan, of a black and white plan, and of a perspective view that we can reach at any given moment by a simple tap. And they're always there for us. And so we can navigate our model very easily right from the off.